This meeting is being recorded.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Michael Zuber, one rental at a time, back with Taylor from Life Goal Investments, 10-year Wall Street veteran. I got to ask him this question, but let's welcome him to the show first. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. Thanks so much. I'm waiting on bated breath over here.
Yeah. So you were on Wall Street for 10 years. You ran in circles that I can't even imagine. Deal flow, families, rich. It's just crazy what you were a part of. So I got to ask you about Twitter, right? Obviously, Elon Musk, the richest man on the planet, made a play for Twitter. He has recently said, no, thank you. You have seen very rich people play games, negotiation. Do you think this is, what do you think's going on? Is he negotiating? Did he punt it? Is it a deal that ever happens? Does Twitter go to zero because now they're seen as a fraud? What is going on with Twitter, man? Come on, tell me.
This was a game of chicken. So you look at the beginning, like back in the beginning of this, the board didn't want to accept Elon Musk's bid.
You're right.
So the board was like, no, we don't want anything to do with you, Elon. And now Elon's saying, I don't want anything to do with you guys. And they're going, we're going to sue you for that. And so it's like this massive reversal in ideology on both fronts. It'll be interesting. So obviously you've seen a massive fall off in the price of stocks in general and the market in general. And that's what's caused this massive kind of back and forth. Mm-hmm. I think the stalemate will play out. And I think what probably happens is Elon does get out of it. And if he gets out of it at worst case scenario with $1 billion breakup fee, mm-hmm. he looks at it and goes, okay, how much money did I save when the stock went from $50 down to $33 a share? Mm-hmm. That was what he was willing to pay for it, about $50 a share. And I think it's at 33, somewhere in that ballpark right now. Mm-hmm. So look at that massive disparity between those two numbers. And if he can orchestrate his way out of this without that $1 billion fee, this is going to be one of the greatest stock non-buyout moves of all time.
Yeah. Sometimes, again, in real estate, I know this, sometimes the best thing is the deal you did not do.
Right.
Right. And this, again, even he has to stroke $1 billion, which again, there's going to be, the problem that I see for Twitter is the board and the CEO has a choice. They have a choice to fight, or they have meaning fight Elon, or they could say, publicly give him the middle finger and go, we're going to do it without you, blah, blah, blah. Because again, if you choose to fight Elon, he's the richest. He has more money and more lawyers than Twitter does.
Correct. Oh, he was going to purchase the whole thing. So
yeah. So he's got more. He can drag this out until Twitter has no oxygen and they're scrapped for parts.
Yeah, but they also have to answer the shareholder. And I think the shareholder looks at this and goes, hang on, we had our eyes set on $50 a share. And right now we're at, mid 30s or whatever it is. And so maybe they're able to stave that off and say, listen, this is a losing battle for the reasons you just mentioned. Or maybe the shareholder goes, no, we need to at least forge this to the extent that we get an idea if we have a shot at winning this. At least make this guy stroke a check for $1 billion. That we're worth what, 33 or what was he buying it for? He's bought him for 44 billion.
44 or 45 billion, something like that. Yeah.
Okay, so now they're worth a third less than that or whatever. Yeah. So
well, and then here's the real problem, right? Is I think part of this exercise, Elon has exposed Twitter kind of revenue stream in a pretty big way. Again, when I go look at my Twitter account, it's definitely full of bots and all of this, but I think
are you a Twitter user?
I have a Twitter account. Yeah. And it's,
and are you active?
I'm daily. Yeah. I mean, I'm not huge or anything, but I watch other folks that are pretty big, and it's clearly lots of bots and all of that. But I think the real problem is, I think the large enterprise accounts look at what's going on and realize they've been paying for 5 to 10 to 20% of non-humans. And they're like, minimum, I want it cheaper, or maximum, like, screw you, I'm going to give my money to Snapchat or Facebook or somebody else. It's the ROI of a Twitter ad. It's not the same thing. It's not a transactional platform, right? It's brand awareness. Right. And I think they could be a $20 stock in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I don't disagree at all. I'm new to social media. So I didn't have a social media account prior to the last 6 months. So since the build out of Life Goal Investments, I've gotten on social media and started to become present, et cetera. The one that I have found the least use out of is Twitter. Mm-hmm. And
I agree.
The most confusion out of is Twitter as well. It's how do you get into an ecosystem where your brand gets built? It is not as clear to me as is Facebook/Instagram, TikTok, etc. All of these seem like easier platforms. LinkedIn, YouTube, which you're a monster on. I mean, all of these are easier platforms to understand why you would pay someone revenue to drive brand awareness on those platforms. The Twitter sphere is just a confusing one, in my opinion.
Yeah, again, I was not on the platform until I retired, left my enterprise job, other than LinkedIn, which you had to be. Of all the platforms which I have years of experience with now, Twitter is also where the most hate comes from.
Oh, it's visceral. It's a brutal environment. People are on there just squawking at each other all day long, it seems.
It's full of hate. Yeah, I wouldn't spend $1 of advertising on that platform. And I think more and more, I think all of this going on, I think, for a long time, marketing's like, hey, I have $100. I'm going to give 10 here, 10 here, right? Now I think they're going to increasingly look at Twitter and either A, I want twice as much for half as much, or nope, I'm not playing there. It's not where I want to be.
It'll be interesting. And I think it'll be interesting to see how TikTok plays into things as well, because TikTok is obviously a massively proliferating platform, but do people have the same trust in a Chinese-based company as they do in the American-based companies?
Well, I think there's a lot. I think eventually Google and Apple take it off the App Store. That's what I think will happen because of that.
It'll be interesting.
Because of privacy and all of that. I think it eventually becomes an issue.
I think that people must look at, if you have, follower for follower or view for view on some of the other platforms, they have to look at it and say, I at least believe this platform, or at least believe this platform to a higher degree than I do this other platform. At least that's what my intuition tells me. And maybe I'm far off there.
Yeah, I know. Again, we're relatively newbies in social media, so we could clearly be way off base, which is totally okay. We're taking an honest shot at this. So I guess there's two things when I think about Elon Musk now that he's declared he doesn't want it. He could come back and get a cheaper price. So I'll ask you, by the end of the year, do you think Elon has a shot at owning Twitter, or do you think he's dumped it and he's ran away from the steaming pile of mess?
I think he's dumped it and has run away, but I do think there is a chance that he is in there for a lower bid.
Okay.
I think that's one of the things that I had mentioned before on I think it was on your show, was talking about the fact that Tesla has literally $0 of marketing.
Yes,
so they
zero,
do not market their product at all. It is all via social media, word of mouth, etc. So having a stake in that business for a marketing arm for Tesla is something that will always be of interest to Elon. Now, does he look at it and say, hey, you guys aren't willing to divulge any information that exposes you not having more than 5% bots? Maybe there's a question there. And Elon doesn't come out of this smelling good either, in my opinion. But maybe he's able to get a lower bid on the table and have this continue to be. I think that was part of the master plan to begin with, was have this be part of a marketing arm for
I can see that. So let's assume he runs away. Other people are saying, hey, why doesn't just Elon take 10% of his bid and go build his own? Do you think building his own social media platform is possible, or do people not understand how hard it is?
The guy is a machine. I will give him that. Between SpaceX, between the Boring Company, between Tesla, and from what I understand and read on him, he is very involved in all of them. So I can't see any one of those underlying companies signing up for, Elon, take on another headache, go out and build out a social media platform. That's absurdity to me, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, when you got a big blank check, you can write lots of checks. So.
And when you got an ego the size of the state of California, it's real.
There you go. Well, Taylor, it's been a lot of fun today. I always appreciate our conversations. Where can people find you?
Yeah, find us at Life Goal Investments on Instagram is the best place for us. At Life Goal Investments on Instagram.
Awesome, man. I appreciate it. I'll talk to you next week, and we will see under 8.6 or not.
We will see.
Take care, buddy.